ERC, quality service since 1972. Repairing TVs, console stereos, electronic musical instruments, pinball machines, arcade games, and more. Call 836-0454.
This is the Weather Extreme video for Sunday, June the 28th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters coming to you this morning from the woods you can see behind me at Mount Cheaha. At the campsite, and certainly enjoying a beautiful weekend up here, although we have a few clouds. Let's take a look at the Skycam network around the state. Here's Clanton, and you can see a little bit of clouds there. A few clouds over the Tennessee River as we look out from the Skycam at Decatur. Such a nice shot up there. And then this is the view from our Skycam at Mount Cheaha, which is where I'm located, and a few showers on radar just to the south of Mount Cheaha. On the surface map this morning, the big focus, I think, is on the surface low in south central Canada, but really for us, the focus is on the weak front that's lying across the northeast corner of the state, as well as the front that's just off to the west and northwest that should be giving us some weather later today. On the upper air chart, you can see the upper air low over south central Canada, and that's going to be with us for much of the next week. But since it's going to be just to our east, I think it's going to keep weather pretty nice, except that's going to put a northwesterly flow. And you know what happens with northwesterly flows. Temperature-wise, across central Alabama this morning, we're generally in the lower and mid-70s with a few upper 70 readings, so 70s for the most part. Certainly a warm morning. Radar, we're watching a lot of activity out in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and southern Missouri, but also we've got a few showers just to the south of I-20 in east central Alabama. And those showers all generally moving to the southeast. QPF-wise, not a great deal of rain going to be forecast for us for the next few days. The front will move through, I think, later today and tonight and into tomorrow. And as it does, it's going to settle down along the Gulf Coast. And, of course, you see what that does for the state of Florida, producing a good deal of rain. Now, today, even though the showers will be of the scattered nature, some of those storms could be severe. We're getting capes on the order of 2,000 joules per kilogram, and that's pretty high. Looks like even though the mid-level lapse rates are not just terribly impressive, it looks like there's lots of low-level moisture, and the forcing of afternoon heating should fire some thunderstorms. I think the main threat's damaging wind and marginally severe hail, although the atmosphere is fairly warm. Now, tropics, they're still watching at the National Hurricane Center, the area in the Western Caribbean, and satellite view does not really show it too impressive. And I thought I'd also take a look, and sea surface temperatures are not that impressive in the Northwest Caribbean, but if it gets out to the a little bit north of the Yucatan Peninsula, temperatures are a little bit warmer there, so we'll be watching for development, but nothing expected in the next 48 hours or so. All right, here's the 06Z GFS model run. Here's the upper air chart, the 500 millibar chart for today, and you can see our closed low over south central Canada and just north of the Great Lakes. And that's the feature we're going to be staying with for the next several days. The front will migrate down into the area, but as you can see from the GFS's generation of precipitation here, and this is, by the way, this afternoon at 7 p.m., you can see that not a lot being generated. Now, by tomorrow, that front settles in down along the Gulf Coast and along the southeast coast of the United States, so that should put us dry and also a little bit cooler, with temperatures dropping back to around 90 degrees. There's our closed low now in the eastern Great Lakes, but notice the trough axis is generally to our east, and that should keep us pretty much dry, but with a northwesterly flow. The closed low just pretty much becomes nearly stationary for Wednesday, and for Thursday we're beginning to see a little bit of an eastward migration, not much, and also a little bit of a weakening, and that may open the possibility for some scattered showers, but I think for the most part we should be dry. Now, the trough begins, or the closed low opens up to a trough on Friday, and as it does, that's going to keep us in strong northwesterly flow, and the result is we're going to have to be watching to the northwest of us. You notice that the GFS is forecasting some large thunderstorm complexes off to our northwest. We'll have to watch those very carefully, and the same sort of thing happens on July 4th, and that will certainly ruin some fireworks, so we're going to have to watch for that. But for the most part, I think isolated at best in the way of showers. And by Sunday, The trough axis is on the southeast U.S. coast, but we're still under a northwesterly flow. But I think with the surface high where it is, generally in the vicinity of Chicago, that I think that's going to suppress much of any of the shower activity. And then still, once again, on Monday, a good deal of shower activity to our south. Now, let's venture out into Voodoo, and I don't like the appearance of this, but the big ridge coming back, and look at the 594 contour line there, right over Memphis, Birmingham, Jackson, and Atlanta. So could get rather hot around the 10th of July. That heat bubble migrates further west, and the ridge flattens out somewhat, which that's always good, and that would put us back into a kind of a diurnal shower activity situation. Well, certainly appreciate you tuning in to the Weather Extreme video. James will be back in the saddle once again tomorrow morning. In the meantime, Godspeed.